Sioko Guatsi Tamu Chinquit Natnam KEXP Hinch DJ Tory J Khu.éex Slagwamish Toch Tahola Chinquinais Call Hinch Kotlo Nguamsiasni Sihich Chin Sioko Nos Kenatnam. Greetings. Thank you for welcoming me on Duwamish, Suquamish, Muckleshoot, Tulalip, intertribal and urban native homelands in what we now call Seattle. I'm DJ Tory J, and I'm a Quinault tribal member from Tahola on the mouth of the Quinault River. I'm happy to speak to you today in Khu.éex, the language of my ancestors, and thank you for listening. I have the joy of welcoming my Tlingit, Haida, and Siksika relatives here today. This is the Seattle local band Khu.éex, and they will be playing songs off their new album, Red Cedar in the Hour of Chaos. Khu.éex, whenever you're ready, feel free to start.
How Salana, how Sanang Iklakdas, how sing Sanue, Danat Katla ya gang Salana, how sound in your
You just heard Bloodsucker from Red Cedar in the Hour of Chaos. The band is Khu.éex, right here on listener-powered KEXP.
Facing directly to the east, I take a deep breath of the cool morning air. I search for the moon and the stars on the horizon. In the morning darkness, I know the sun will cast its light. Watching sunrises and sunsets, strong winds whipping across the waters, clouds traveling across the sky, the stillness of dusk, sacred moments. Listen to the sound of the eagle, the raven, the song of hummingbirds, the gentle waves lapping on the shores, the sound of the whales. Breath. Go to the trees with our presence and our spirit. Go to the mountains, the rivers, the oceans. Look to the stars, the moon and sun, to the daylight, the rain, and the very air you breathe. Sacred breath. Our ancestors sang us into existence. Those old, long ago ancestors. Feel the summer warmth, the coolness of the fall, the cold, crisp winter air. Experience the soft sounds of the breeze gently blowing through the leaves, the reflections of the shadows of the sun's light dancing on the ground. Dancing, 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 dancing. Sacred presence. I carry with me ancestral wisdom, strength, resiliency, perseverance, and spirit. I carry with me the pain and the grief. I walked barefoot into the forest. A feeling of connection, gratitude, and love embraced me. Tears filled my eyes and fall onto the land. Sacred connection.
Music healing with music, yeah. Music healing with music, yeah.
That was Music Heals by Khu.éex, and yes, indeed, it does. The album is Red Cedar and the Hour of Chaos.
Tagaban
Excuse me while I recover from my constant stank face. That was Lovebirds from Red Cedar in the Hour of Chaos. This is Khu.éex live on KEXP.
Dirty hands share their holy words of our promised land, neglected to tell us their master plan. Survivors of a system that exists today, extermination of a race, genocide, decay. But we are survivors, we're here to stay. Our birthright to fight for our indigenous ways. Survivors of a system, we take a stand. Honored to walk on ancestral land. Spirit of our people, stories in the sand. For the future of the children, we take a stand. Survivors of a system. Survivors of a system. Survivors of a system.
All right, you just heard T-Funk by Khu.éex right here on listener-powered KEXP. That's from The Wilderness Within, taking it back. This is listener-powered KEXP. You can hear us at 90.3 FM in Seattle, 92.7 in the Bay Area, and all around the world at KEXP.org. You just heard Khu.éex, the Seattle local band, play some songs from their album Red Cedar in the Hour of Chaos. If you like what you've heard today, or if you found your new favorite artists on KEXP's YouTube channel recently, feel free to subscribe at youtube.com/KEXP. And if you're feeling extra giving, feel free to go to KEXP.org/donate, because these sessions are made possible by you, our listeners. This is listener-powered radio. Preston, I was wondering if you would be able to, or willing to introduce the band for us.
Let me check who's here today. So we got Raab Bloodgate on guitar and vocals, composer. Tim Kennedy on keyboards. We got Jason Cressey on trombone. Kate Olsen on baritone. Gordon Brown on tenor. We got Sondra Segundo on vocals. Edward Littlefield on drums. Denny Stern on percussion. And Gene Tagaban on vocals.
Sioko, thank you for being
And
here
I'm
today.
Preston.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, thank you all for being here. That was such an amazing set, and it's so wonderful just to have you play here at KEXP in studio. And so I want to start off by talking about your new album, Red Cedar in the Hour of Chaos, and how it's a Public Enemy reference. It's a reference to at least a nod to Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. So aside from that sort of titular nod, what are some of the important intersections of Public Enemy's music and message that shape what you were going for with the album?
I guess I will handle this one. All right. So I think probably like a lot of folks, I was in junior high school when It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back came out. So it was a pretty mind-blowing album and one of the greatest Sign of the Times albums of that era. And, you know, not just being influenced by Public Enemy, but the way they, in oral history, that they really covered what was going on with the crack era, how that impacted society, what was going on in the Black community in the late 80s, that it just so masterfully illustrates that. It's like a time capsule. You can go back and listen to that record and understand at least partly what was going on. And I think looking around at the cycles that we live in, and, you know, whereas in the 80s it was the crack era, and now we're in the midst of the fentanyl era, and just how many deaths were going on in the crack era compared to how much deaths are going on with the fentanyl era we're in. And I think I just kept coming back to that. It reminded me so much like we're stuck in this cycle every 20, 30 years where there's, where portions of society just get attacked and hit so hard with colonization, just with its rerun. It's like we're in the nick at night of colonization right now. So we ran with it, and yeah, a lot of the stories on the album really reflect what's going on right now. And like that, you know, you can record an album and have it be a time capsule and kind of a history lesson that you can communicate not just to the people that are listening to you today, like in 2025, but you can help people like in 2050 and 2060 understand what life was like in the Native community at this point in time. So I think that's been something we've cycled back to a lot, is just, you know, speaking, you know, one day we're going to be the ancestors. So we're going to be able to, like, talking forward and not just reflecting right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that those cycles are animated and sounded in so many different ways in our experiences as Native people and through your music. Your last album, Seattle, sounded urban Indian experiences in this city, what we now refer to as Seattle, which are shaped by this really dense and beautiful history of activism, but also as like a relocation city. And so talking about cycles of colonization, I want to sort of like turn to the flip side of cycles of resilience. And one thing that I love that you've said about the album is that the red cedar tree is kind of like the metaphor or the sort of sentinel of resilience. So how important is it to pay specific attention to our resilience, a sort of cedar tree being in a society that focuses so much on our pain?
Well, we talk about decolonization so much, and I like to actually refer to it as re-indigenization. And that resiliency lives in each and every one of us. Just see it in our children. Our children are very resilient, and they're raised in this time right now. Our ancestors dreamt us into existence. We are a product of those dreams and those prayers, and here we are. And with music that we're playing right now, we're dreaming the future generations into existence as well. And the cedar tree, part of the forest. And I was always told too that with the trees hold the remembering. If you want to remember, go to the trees. And once you've stepped off the trail into the forest, you've stepped into the threshold of spirit and into the water. And our ancestors knew that. And sometimes in this here urban world, in this world today, we just get away from that stuff. And all we have to do is just step outside, and breathe, and that's our connection. Just take off our shoes and step on the land, and just go up. If you ever feel the cedar tree too, it's soft. It's very soft, it's plush as well. And just like us, as Indian people, we're very soft and plush. Yeah, we're good looking people too, And we're like, yeah. But anyway, that resiliency, you talk about the resiliency. So many people talk about the hurt, harm, pain, and wounds and trauma. But here we are. We got our love. We got our wisdoms. We got our knowledge. We got that perseverance. We got that joy, and as well, our ancestral wisdoms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so our roots are deep. Our roots are deep. They tried to genocide us one time, but we're still here. And and part of it too is it's up to us to protect the forest, and they've taken care of us. We need to take care of the land and the earth as well. And so I'll leave it at that. I can go on and on and on and on.
I'll say Seattle is such a great place to grow up. Just in the native community here is so big. And, Seattle has a lot in common with like Denver and San Francisco, Phoenix, where, it's a BI relocation city. And, short of giving a history lesson, go online, look up the BI relocation project of like the 50s and 60s. So you have so many people from different tribes here in the Puget Sound that you can, even if you're not from a local tribe, there's such a big network of Indian country here in Seattle, whether it's, growing up and being able to go to like the Seattle Indian Heritage School powwows almost every other weekend, that, Seattle Indian Health Board has been such a hub of the community. And it's, there's the circles here in the Puget Sound. It's like this weird juxtaposition, because you have the displacement of like the Duwamish people out of Seattle. And then meanwhile, you get like all these out-of-state tribes dumped here at the same time and overlapping, where it creates an interesting energy, but if you can't grow up in your own tribal community, being able to have the supportive community here in Seattle, the urban Indian community here, is just such a huge part of so many people's lives, and has, really kept so many people connected while living at such a large distance from, their specific tribal community. So.
Yeah, I want to add something. Can I add something to that too? As far as I'm not from Seattle and all that, so it's Seattle itself. The city is like kind of the jungle to me. I'm from Southeast Alaska, growing up there, but coming to Seattle too. Not only do we have a good foundation of the native peoples here, or Indian peoples too, but you find Seattle's a really good place to cultivate that allyship with all peoples too. And what I love about our band Khu.éex, we got our native community here too, but we got our brothers and sisters here too that we've built allyship with, and we're all talking about that same message too. Bringing about that love, that spirit, and that music, and that heart and soul to the people. Yeah, that healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love hearing this idea of sort of like a disaggregation of sort of settler colonial ways of seeing and being in relation to each other, and a re-aggregation of that sort of indigenous love, that indigenous way of being, that I think Khu.éex kind of embodies in a lot of ways, like the ways that we sort of come together intertribally to sort of sound indigenous futures. That's something that I've talked about in other interviews, youtube.com/KEXP, with people, about how, like, I think that indigenous futurity is sounded, like it's a very important, like, not even just an important dimension, it's like a necessary process to do this thing that our ancestors have done, which is to make music and be in relation to each other. And so that's a really beautiful thing. And I think for my last question, I want to turn to language, because one of my favorite things about Khu.éex is that both Haida and Tlingit languages are in a lot of the music. And so they also, indigenous languages form our place-based philosophies. They're not just like sounds that we make over a mic. And so how would you describe the importance of speaking, uttering, sounding indigenous languages in Khu.éex?
It definitely helps us to feel grounded when we start practicing our languages that almost disappeared. When I started relearning and reclaiming my Haida language, I grew up in a time where there were still many fluent birth speakers alive, and so I heard the sounds with my own ears, and then that time seemed to have disappeared. And when I started this work, I quit my job and I full on just went into relearning my language. My heart was breaking, and so I really wanted to, help in the efforts to save our critically endangered language. So I asked my cousin how I could help, and he told me there's a fluent speaker down here in the area, and she's a gem, and you need to work with her, do whatever it takes to work with her. So that's what really started the nonprofit, working with her, capturing her voice and her teachings, and I was able to work with her in the last years of her life. She passed away at 93, and that was beautiful. So after that, I just really wanted to recapture the spaces that when I would go up to my village in Heidelberg, where my elders felt safe, the ones who went through the system, the boarding school system, they would be different than they were in the city. When they were together with each other, they laughed differently. They spoke our language fluent, and us kids would be just running in and out of the house, and they'd be giving us traditional foods, like we're little seagulls just opening our mouths, and they would feed us, and it was a beautiful time. And I wanted to recapture that. And so we started doing that, where we would get together and just speak our language to each other and practice it. And a lot of people, what I didn't realize, there's a lot of pain associated with relearning our language. It's not like going to college and, or school and taking Spanish or a different language that's really predominant. There's a lot of pain associated with this and a lot of healing that needs to take place. And so that was something that I wasn't expecting. But when we got into our places, in our safe places where we could laugh and eat and just practice our language together, it just boosted this healing. And because it's really difficult to speak our languages. A lot of it comes from here, like di gununga inasis lutanat katla ayagang, or just a lot of those sounds. And you hear the sounds of the eagles and the ravens and the the life we share the land with in our languages. And so it just gives us that sense of belonging. And we see that it's bringing this joy. And it's okay if we mess up, and we're going to be gentle with each other going forward. We're not going to, just be kind to each other as we're reclaiming our languages, and just being asked to be a part of this band. When they asked me to join 6 years ago, they asked me if I could sing in my language, and I'm like, what? Okay, yes. And so it's just been the most healing experience, being able to be a part of this band, and then hearing the children singing the songs and sending me videos, and it's very crucial to the healing of our hearts and our souls and our minds to practice our languages. And no matter what you do, just keep trying. If you're out there learning your indigenous languages, just keep trying. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You got this. You can do it. Oh, yeah.
Khu.éex. I'll piggyback on what Sondra said. Representation matters, right? So if you've got a band that sings in Chudkill or Tlingit, I do a lot of teaching, and so when I'm up and teaching, I play these tracks, and these kids, these young children, actually know what they're saying, and it's not a foreign language, it's not a different language, it's just their birth language that they've reclaimed. And so whenever I'm sharing these songs, we've got a lot of airplay in Alaska, by the way, so I'm driving around Juneau, and it's playing all the time. I hear Sondra singing. So it's really special to hear the language, what you talked about, place-based. It is like in the place where it was born thousands of years ago, this language. So it makes me very happy to speak Tlingit. Khu.éex.
That I don't even. Sorry, I collect myself for a second. That's so wonderful to hear from both of you. I'm just thinking about like a lot of Lushootseed language words, specifically the language of this land, Lushootseed, are onomatopoeic. And so like the way that you're talking about how you can hear raven and eagle in the languages, and to feel that presence of thousands-year-old knowledge here is so just important. And it really like I can't really put into words how much it means to me to be able to speak a little bit of Knecht to you tonight. Like, because, our language revitalization program is so new and we don't have any fluent speakers anymore. And I actually just asked my sister to teach me how to introduce myself in Knecht just for KEXP. And so to have those languages be spoken in this space is so powerful to me. And so thank you. Sioko.
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to Air Jazz, who are our 70th member. He's stranded up in Alaska, couldn't make it down for this one, so I want to give him a shout out in Radio Land to our brother Air Jazz. It's a privilege being around so many language speakers. Just it's awesome. Even learning languages of other tribes, it's so cool being able to. I've been rolling with Tlingits long enough now that I'm like, hey, I recognize that. I know that word.
Yeah, and I actually was so sad that he couldn't make it, and so I sent it up to him, and to all of you for being here. Sioko, thank you once again for being here. This has been Khu.éex live on KEXP. If you like what you hear in this session, or if you found your new favorite artists on our YouTube channel, please subscribe at KEXP or youtube.com/KEXP. Or you could download the apps on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Or you can hear us at 90.3 FM in Seattle, 92.7 in the Bay Area, and all around the world at KEXP.org. Khu.éex, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.